My audio might get wonky as I gotta choose different devices, so if you need to, just mute me.
We'll be good. We'll be good.
I probably should set up push to talk too.
Well, there we are, ready and rolling for today again. Good morning, Andy Stubbs. There he is, the first person to say, hi, inmates, outmates. Yeah. How's Stalag 13, Andy? Stalag Victoria. Joining us on the Discord today is Oggy. Say hello, Oggy. Hello, Oggy. Psycho, Cody, Psycho. What do you want, Cody? Yeah, Cody or Psycho? They know you as Cody as well.
You can call me either, I don't care.
Just don't call you late for dinner. Yeah, Cody, he's currently in ASQ. We can ask Cody all the things about his ASQ and his little trip over here that took 2 days to get to Thailand. And of course, we've got Todd from South Australia. G'day, say hello, Todd.
Hello, Todd.
And then James Borkard. Ahoy, mate. He's doing the Jack Sparrow thing. Yeah, anyway, so this morning, well, I said we got Psycho here. We can talk about ASQ. We got Todd, South Australia. Ask anything about South Australia. I'm going to sit down and see if I can actually follow the chat today.
All I can tell you, it's cold. It's cold in South Australia.
Well, that's why I left Australia. I can't stand cold. I have got something I was going to show you. So, one of the things that YouTube are moving into this thing here called Shorts. So, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to bring that. Oh, where is it? I think I've got a link to it here. Let's bring that one up. No, not there. So I'm going to start playing with this whole shorts format. If you don't know what shorts are, it's like a direct head-to-head with TikTok. It's been rolled out in a few countries. It's not directly available for my channel here in Thailand or in Australia. It's not even been released to Australia yet, but. It's something that we've got. Oh, I've got the new sign on the door. There you go. Got the new sign on the door. There, kangaroo. Next 8 kilometres. Do you like that? Bulldog, g'day. How you doing? Yeah. So had to let the girls downstairs know the fact that this is the kangaroo room. Anyway, moving right along. Let me just drag that into that window, if I can. Get it to sit there, yeah. So if you haven't seen a short before, which is actually, it goes through and it plays like this. And I will turn the on. Let me just start it again, yeah. Well, the things you find in Thailand: coffee mix, espresso, ganja coffee. Ganja coffee. Oh my God. Gotta love it. This is where we get our water from. 45 baht for 45 baht for a dozen bottles. So we usually get about 6 at a time. Plus we buy some coffee. Yes, get my coffee. I gotta have my coffee. Oh my God. Yeah, so I do plan to make some more of that sort of stuff, getting ready for the release globally. But that's the first one, titled and sort of end screen. Got a few little tweaks to do there, but it should be fun. They are unlisted at the moment. The link to that one's on our Discord here. I may put it up next week. I think our our channel members, the join, so the channel members have got a link to it, so they got to check it out. But yeah, bit of a plug there for the channel membership. You're always welcome to join the channel as a member, get little snippets of new stuff before everybody else. Anyway, moving right along. Yes, what do you think about the door? Morning, William, Walter. Hi, Warren. Love you and your beautiful wife. Blessings and love. Thank you, Walter. And Mr. Mitch, good morning. Mr. Mitch, he is the man of the channel. He's the man of the channels of Thailand. He's a moderator on just about everybody that does live streams. He doesn't get paid for it. He pays us for the privilege. Oh my God, no. He's been a channel member since we launched the membership too. That's why he's got the little symbol there. Same with Andy as well. Anyway, so moving right along. What else I don't think we've got many photos this week. Oh, our little cute cat. What's our little cute cat doing now? It's taking.
There's his next short.
Wrong format. The shorts format's actually going to be. It's got to be portrait format. You're going to do it in portrait format. Yeah. So yeah. So that's Chanya. What else has she got there? It was my video. Yeah. It's taking. Yeah. Okay. This is the tile stuff that we were looking at. Yeah, we didn't go with the footprint style. What did we end up getting? We went for this style here. That sort of square tile there. That's the one we went for. I haven't put them down yet. That's the. Oh, no, that was the one we got. I think that one there. Yeah, they haven't been laid yet, unfortunately. That's sort of job for breaking somebody's back, and I did some heavy lifting this week. I think you saw the trees. They went in the front. We're going to have a row of trees down the side there as well at some stage. Once we get I've got to find gypsum. Don't know where to get gypsum from yet. So anyway, a bit of a roll up of that sort of stuff. Anyway, getting back to the main channel. It's Q&A today. So ask questions. It's a Q&A day. What do you want to know? Todd, not Todd, Psycho, you've 24 hours in A, or 12 hours in ASQ, how's it been?
It's been pretty good. I'm hoping this mic is actually working.
Yes.
Yes, it's working, yeah. That's actually a bit clearer too, yeah.
Yeah, the switch mics, but I had to find cables. The only complaint that I have so far, and I got in yesterday at around 10:30 in the morning, then got to ASQ at around 11:30. The only complaint that I have so far is that the meals, while delicious, are delivered at room temperature, but I am switching my strategy with dealing with that, and because I've got 2 different time slots that you can have your meals delivered, and I was having them delivered at the later time slot, now I'm having them delivered 1 hour earlier.
Right, okay, that makes some sort of sense, yeah. Now, on your channel, you put some pictures of the plain food. Do you mind if I share them?
Oh, please do. Yeah. If you guys ever get the chance to travel Singapore Airlines, like their food is just amazing.
Yeah. So this is the Singapore Airlines. That was one of the dishes, was it? So rice with chicken. What was a chicken with a flavour? What sort of sauce was that?
Teriyaki chicken?
Is that teriyaki?
It wasn't teriyaki. I think it was, and it might be chicken rice, but they didn't have like all the normal side flavorings that like the typical chicken rice has. Mm-hmm. Either way, it was awesome.
It was good food. Well, I said, airline food is always a bit subjective, and that was this is the other meal, wasn't it? What was that one there? That was a spaghetti with...
Oh, I should watch your live rather than YouTube live. See.
Yes.
Oh yeah, this was I believe, braised beef, and this was again every single part of that meal was amazing. Like from the weird salad thing to the bread to the main course to the dessert. So yeah, I'll give a definite shout out to Singapore Airlines.
But of course, but you did sort of say you did fly business class, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I've flown them premium economy as well, and I would actually say that their premium economy is a really good deal too. The business class is a bit pricey, but I'd say worth it. But the premium economy is probably your best bang for the buck.
Mr. Mitch, braised drop bear is tasty. Have you had that, have you, Mr. Mitch?
I can tell you some stories about drop bears here in Australia. Andy Stubbs and I probably got a few stories to tell about drop bears.
And of course, for those people that don't know what a drop bear is, drop B.
Oh, they're vicious. They're vicious. Oh,
see if we can find
vicious creatures.
Yes, there we go. Nasty little creatures.
That's a drop bear.
Yeah, nasty creatures. I think they're sort of more of a sort of got to watch them. They are hideous creatures. They especially like American blood. It's almost like they have a radar for American blood. When the Americans come to Australia and start walking through our forests, mate, they can smell an American a mile away. And they will just go for them, right? And basically, the only safe way to travel in an Australian forest is to take an American with you. Seriously, because they'll go the American
totally agree.
first. They'll take the American out first. They really will.
I guess I won't ever be going to Australia.
Don't worry.
What do we have? We have 5 of the world's deadliest creatures in Australia, or something like that.
No, it's actually the statement is the 9 of the 10 deadliest creatures in the world are in Australia. But actually, to be more precise, the top 9 deadliest creatures in the world are all in Australia. Well, that's what they say anyway. But yeah, Australia, it's there's plenty of memes out there. You have to find the memes. Images. There are some classics out there, like this one here. I always love this meme. This is a great meme. Not all Australian animals will kill you. Don't get me wrong. He wants to, he just can't. Look at the claws on it. Like it's the size of the thumb. And look at the claws on it. He's gripping it. He's trying to draw blood.
That's an adorable, murderous little rodent.
That's it. The blue-ringed octopus. You can watch those things. They are really small. The blue-ringed octopus is really, really small. It's smaller than the size of your hand, but one of the most deadly neurotoxins on the planet. Here's another one there. So what have we got? Great white sharks, box jellyfish, grey nurses.
Could you get the redback?
The redback and the redback on the toilet seat, the funnel web spider, boxing kangaroos, which I always how does it always get a listing? Mind you, a kangaroo, those feet, if they get threatened, the big reds, they can lean back on their tail, and that front claw on their feet can rip a person in half. And I'm not, that's no meme. There have been those issues in Australia. The deadly adders, tiger snakes, stingrays, although stingrays don't really kill you, but I think isn't that what killed what they caught what's his name, the
Aussie naturalist dude?
The Aussie guy, what his name was, I can't remember his name now. Crocodiles, cassowaries, they're a bird. They are vicious, those things. Don't cross a cassowary. But yeah, Australia just wants to kill you.
Great place to live, guys. Come and see us.
There we go. 33 pictures that prove Australia wants to kill you. There we go. This should be awesome. Yeah, snakes in the toilet. Vampire bats being eaten by snakes. There we go. That snake wanted to eat that kangaroo. That's it. I love that picture. That gets everywhere. There you go. Running into the 4 a.m. python. Running into a 4-metre python in the mall. Snakes that climb into toilets. That's right. Don't go golfing. Just there we go. That's an aeroplane.
Yes.
There's an aeroplane flying, and there's a snake in it. Snakes on a plane? It really does happen in Australia. These fox bats are certainly cool, but spread disease. Yes. Dingoes are not a friendly dog at all. They are just a wild dog, but they're quite vicious. What's that? Shark runs the car. Shark in the bay. Oh my God, chills, everything. Australia wants to kill you. Yep, that's it. That's a shark where the guy's surfing. Crocodiles. There's a snake eating a crocodile. A snake eating a crocodile, I've got to love it. Oh, these ticks. Yeah, those things there. They killed one of my dogs, a tick. So spiders. Spiders. I hate spiders. Soldier beetles. Flies. You get out the outback. Flies. Oh my God. And one more swarm. Millipedes. They are hideous creatures. They're giant earthworms. Mole crickets. It's like it comes out of the prehistoric age, doesn't it? Giant venomous centipedes, cassowaries. What the hell's that? Giant jellyfish. This little box jellyfish is 100 times more poisonous than a cobra snake. This is a result of a box jellyfish.
I didn't realize they were that small.
Oh, they can get, the baby ones are just as deadly as the big ones. Oh, but that was a big one. That's obviously he calls that one.
Yeah, that's what I've heard with poisonous stuff. The smaller they are, the worse.
Yeah, the blue-ringed octopus. The marble cone snail really wants to kill you with his venoms. That's a poisonous snail. Again, stonefish. Don't go into the rocky areas of the rock pools in Australia. You can easily tread on one of those. They're everywhere. This is what they can do. Yep. That's right. even the weather wants to kill you. That's hailstones.
But mixed in with billiard balls.
Well, that's just giving you an idea of the size.
Softball sized.
Yeah. What's it? Freshwater swimming holes sound like fun. Wrong. When the temperature of this water body exceeds 24 degrees Celsius, 76 degrees Fahrenheit, the water may contain the amoebic responsible for the potentially fatal disease known as amoebic meningitis. There is no practicable treatment of the water available to this city's health authorities to reduce the risk. Swimmers therefore swim at your own risk. Right, even the water in Australia wants to kill you. That's it. You've got to love Australia. I'm glad I live in Thailand. That's the end of story. But yeah, anyway. Where we were going with all that.
This goes to prove that Australians are fucking nuts.
That's it.
No, they just breed us tough down here, Oggy.
Yeah.
That's
That's a name we have.
Isn't it easier just to breed them dumb?
Oh.
Yeah,
Smart ones leave, right?
let's have a quick say hello to Blue Zinc. He's joined us again he's been away from the fold for a few months. What have you been doing, Blue? Haven't seen you on for a while. Haven't even been in a Discord channel for a while. Maybe so his app got corrupted or something on his phone. But anyway, so we said William. We also Tim. G'day Tim, how you doing? Going down. XNLO, Crocodile Hunter, Dundee. Marku, g'day. What else we got? Robert Groves, g'day Robert. And Patrick.
Mayor Groves, good to see you.
Mayor Groves is here. DC, big ups Warren. DC's joined us. Who else? Wayne York. G'day Wayne, how you doing? Tim, we get Hale's softball size here in Texas too. Yeah, I think it's something to do with the geographical regions that can cause that. It's just not only Australia, but as I said, we like to talk about the fact that even the weather tries to kill you. Because everything else does. Why not? Will 86, how you doing? Proof that God was doing some hardcore drugs when he made it. Exactly. He finished the rest of the world. He said, let's make a nice little island paradise. Then he went on holidays. Australians are built tough. Yeah, well, that's it. 1917, they sent a bunch of them and then told them to storm that beach. Yep, Australia said, well, let's do it! As they gunned them down on Tripoli. What else is there? Steve Irwin. Steve, that was the name I was trying. Who was the crocodile guy? Yeah, that's right. I couldn't remember the name for a minute there. I never watched his program. I thought he was a bit of a dick. But anyway. Tim, I hear something. I hear sometime soon there will be soccer ball-sized hail in certain places. It's quite very likely, Tim. The way that the climate's going. It's anything is possible. Pretty sure planet Earth, Mother Gaia, is just having enough of us and wants to cleanse the viral sort of infection called human species. Look at what's going on right now. SARS, H1N1, COVID-19, you name it. She's doing her best to rid the population.
That's just her shaking her fur.
Yeah, she's trying to shake the fleas off. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so what else has been going on? The story this week, of course, of the OA visa holders are being singled out again for a change in their health insurance policy, right? So for some reason, the government has decided that a specific genus of human species who are here in Thailand on an OA visa, they are more susceptible to health problems than somebody on an O visa, on a B visa, on an education visa, on any other visa. It's just OA visas, right? They're more susceptible to health issues and now must carry $100,000 US insurance policy for COVID-19. What the? Honestly, who comes up with these bloody ideas? It's indiscriminate. I don't know where this could go. Anyway, enough of this discussion because it's just one of those sort of things that just rocks my boat. But I said, why do we do it? Well, we came here to get away from all the bullshit everywhere else. Now they just want to give us a whole bunch of bullshit. So end of story. Now they want us to make our life hard. Yes, Robert, you're lucky. I can't get an O visa. Right? That's the required for O visa. I don't qualify. I'm not married. I don't have any of the pre-qualifications for an O visa. I'm over 50, and that's it. I'm just a visitor here. They won't let me get married, so there you go. Mind you, again, I always sort of say the OA retirement visa is the easiest visa to maintain, and I will stick by that. And that's the end of the story. It's just the OA visa is the easiest.
Well, what would throw a spanner in the works, Warren, is that I'm completely vaccinated. So
that doesn't matter.
Would they? No. So
It doesn't matter. So again, what's the efficiency? You know, you got to, so they're rolling out the vaccine now. So what's going on there? So even if you're vaccinated, you're still going to be hit with this extra insurance policy. And plus the fact that I've already got a COVID-19 insurance policy. So I've got to ask the question, well, it's actually, from what I understand, under Thai law, it's illegal to have two insurance policies that cover for the same thing. Right? So
yeah.
what am I supposed to do? So I go and cancel one before I can take out another? The whole thing's screwed. It really is. Andy Stubbs, was it first William? Better and cheaper to change your visa. Yeah, well, I don't know how to get an O visa, and I believe the only way to get an O visa is I'm going to bounce out of the country. So that means 2 stints of 2 weeks in quarantine somewhere, at my cost of plane fares or whatever. It's just ludicrous. It really is. I do plan. I plan on sort of seeing a visa agent, but I got to find one in Nakhon Pantom now, not in Bangkok, unfortunately. Paul in Sydney, g'day. 3 myths: COVID, climate change, and religion. Some people say not necessary. Me, just covering my asses. Yeah, religion. Let me start me on the religion thing. Money grab for it is. It's just a money grab. Like the government's broke. Just like every government around the world. Well, that's how governments run. Governments run on the debt of society. For a society base, need to have a cash flow through society. Right. That's how governments run. If there is no cash flow through society, governments fail. So they've got to do everything to have a cash flow. The rich holding onto the money, giving a little bit to the poor to keep them, poor, keep them alive, and that's it. That's the end of the story. If that cash flow doesn't happen, the whole foundation of the government just completely collapses, and of course then you've got anarchy. Mind you, sometimes I think anarchy is probably a better way to go. Still, democracy's failed, so let's give anarchy a chance. It will be easier, to change visas when you can border bounce again. Yeah, well, that's again. I've got to find out more about border bouncing. Maybe, Again, the thing is, I could almost guarantee as soon as they change, as soon as they do that, then they'll bring in mandatory health insurance for O visas or fucking something else. I'm sure that's the way it's going to play out. But again, I've got to look at the fact that my current policy is, I paid 800 baht for 800,000 baht worth of coverage, right? So technically it's 2,400 baht if I can get them to cover it. 2,400.
Is that per month?
No, that's for the year. My current policy, which is 800,000 baht coverage, right, for COVID-19, costs 800 baht a year, right? So I bought 3 policies: one for me, one for Chanya, one for Chanya's mum.
It's really stupid that you would need that if you're vaccinated.
Yeah, but that's not part of the thing. So look. This is only this week. So as you've sort of seen the Phuket on and off again bullshit. It changes every day. It's very hard to keep track of anything.
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad that I'm doing this and not the Phuket thing, because I really, I know that I've got the phone, but I don't want a ankle bracelet or hand bracelet around me tracking me at all times.
Yeah, well, Google track you everywhere you go anyway, but that's beside the point.
True.
Again, why you even need a bracelet? Like, there is technology that already exists. Who comes to Thailand without a smartphone? All I need to do is, have you got an international roaming SIM? Yes or no? Well, basically, how do you check? Turn your phone on. Can you make a phone call? Okay, you've got international roaming on. Click. There you go. What's your phone number? There you go. We're tracked. You're tracked. All Thailand has to do is talk to Google and set, a policy to have that tracking enabled, so they can leverage that tracking data. That's all they got to do. They don't have to make a new app. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. It is already there. But this is what we get here in Thailand. The Thais have to do it their own way sort of mentality.
I don't know if I would do it if I had to pay AT&T $20 a day to have international roaming data here.
Yeah, but that's the international roaming data. But the thing is, if you don't have international roaming data, well then, here's this SIM. Put this in your SIM in your phone, right?
All right, fair enough.
You know, and that's it. You're tracking on a phone. Well, you got free phone calls. You know, that's it. Give them free local phone calls. Give them free internet. You know, here's, you know. There's so many things they could do. Giving them a free SIM, right, if they don't have international roaming, is far cheaper than having some company design a wrist bracelet, which then again you need to charge every night anyway, right? And so, well, how do you subvert the system? You have to take it off and forget to charge it. If you've got a wrist bracelet, it's just got no charge. So how's that going to track anybody? You know, that's the thought processes involved here just escape me. Who makes up these stupid rules? Give them a phone SIM, tell them you've got internet, you've got free phone calls locally, right, and free internet access on True or on DTAC or whatever you want, right? It'll be far cheaper to do that than to have a company make a wrist bracelet that you then have to require the end user to put on charge every night. Because the fact that I can't see them running, because it's like any other, you know, wrist watch sort of device, they need charging every 24 hours. If you get the charger, they just don't work. At least their phone will work. Sean, Mark, how are you going?
Hey, Warren. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
How was just, typical stuff. Mow the lawn, clean half the gutters, do the rest tomorrow. But I was interesting about your health insurance video this week. How much they were asking for this COVID insurance?
I have no idea.
It's five. Well, no, the limit that you were needing, your coverage you were needing.
3 million baht, $100,000 US.
Yeah, I found it to be like 5 times what my back surgery cost in 2 weeks in the hospital for that.
Well, this is the ludicrous thing. So you currently, to come to the country, you have to have this insurance policy, right? If you're coming on a tourist visa, you have to have this policy anyway, right? So yes, so
yeah,
okay,
I just thought it was ridiculously high coverage for it.
Yeah, so you've got it, Psycho, and you got COVID insurance, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just covered through my regular insurance.
The insurance I got was really expensive, and I've got it for the 3 months that I'm on the TR visa.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna wind up switching visas here in a few, after I get out of quarantine and stuff.
But you're using an international policy that's linked into an existing health policy, so it's an addition to an existing health insurance policy.
The one I have is just COVID insurance because
Okay.
I don't have, I'm not at the borough anymore. I'm not at my old work, so I technically don't have regular health insurance.
Mm-hmm. But I thought coming to the country, you still had to do the mandatory 400,000 baht outpatient, 40,000 baht inpatient insurance.
They didn't. None of that was on the COE requirements or anything like that.
Really?
It was just the specific COVID insurance. Now, you know how Thailand is. It could be something. It's like that. Technically, you're supposed to have 20,000 baht equivalent, on your person when you go and enter Thailand. And, I usually carry it, but they've never asked me for it.
It's bizarre, isn't it? But anyway,
insurance is a scam anyway.
Yeah,
At least that's my opinion of it.
Yeah, well, as in my current insurance, so in your question, Sean, my current insurance, I've got 800,000 baht coverage for COVID-19, right, which is a COVID-19 diagnosed case. You have to wait 2 weeks, you get a 2 weeks lying time or waiting time before it's in place. That cost me 800 baht. but it is a Thailand-specific insurance policy. Thais get it, and foreigners with the yellow book, or if you've got the Tabian Barn, you're also eligible as well. If you've got a work visa, you're eligible to get that insurance. And as I said, the retirement visa comes under that sort of heading, because I've got I've got the resident card, which I've got a foreign resident card which qualifies me to get that insurance. So what makes that different? If that's all that's required to cover you, why do I now need to have 3 million baht? For something that I'm going to be vaccinated for, which it's going to make me immune to the thing anyway. Supposedly immune, well, to a hospitalisation level, worst case scenario. So it's to me, it's just bullshit. And is it going to be only, like if it's 800 baht for 800,000, well, that's 3,000 baht for 3 million, right? Are we going to see a policy for 3,000 baht? I don't mind paying 3,000 baht. I just want this bullshit to be over and done with. Just stop singling out the foreign retirees here, who on average spend at least 500,000 baht a year and put into your economy to keep your economy afloat. We spend more than a Thai family on a yearly basis. Yet you want to single us out. What you just want to just milk the cow that keeps on giving? Is that what it is? Right? That's what it really seems like to me. Anyway, it's just I try not to rant about it, but it just infuriates you. There's the fact that there's this. They do it because they can. There is a specific visa type that they can single out that doesn't affect their working population, doesn't affect the border crossers, doesn't affect a lot of people. It only affects the people who've chosen to live here outside the system. And I got to say outside the system, because particularly when you look at the OA retirement visa, which is predominantly where we're talking about, we are outside the system. The only tax we pay is a 7.5% GST, right? So we have this money and the governments can't access it, right? It's our money. They can't tax it. The only time they can tax it is on a goods and services charge, which, as you know, here in Thailand is only charged probably 30% of the time wherever you go. If you're out here in the sticks, like out in the suburbs, you never see a GST charge. The only time you see a goods and services charge is when you're in a shopping mall or when you're in the city. You come there to eat at these street vendors or the street the street markets, the throw up markets, the tent markets. There's no GST collected there. It's just
sorry, this is slightly, it's on track but it's off track. What I find interesting about Thailand, and I don't know if it's this way in Australia, is like when you go to 7-Eleven and stuff, it appears that the prices that are listed are actually what you pay, not price plus tax like the US.
Yeah, well, GST is already charged at that level. It's unlike America, where I think you've got to list the GST charge. It's not required here in Thailand as a mandate. I think
it depends on the the county, borough, city, state.
I'm not quite sure what the ordinance is. I don't study Thai law, so just that caveat. I'm not a lawyer. Don't talk to me about law shit. I've got no idea.
A lot of countries find our inability to put the tax into the cost of the product. When you're purchasing a store, they find that backward.
Yeah, I could understand that. Ever since I was a kid, I thought that was kind of infuriating.
Yeah.
DC's asked the question, is this thing here a Buddhist shrine? This is typically a motif that you'll find on most house ownerships. When you move in and you've had the house blessed, you'll put one of these little Buddhist shrines, if you're Buddhist. Yes, we will have one in our garden once the garden's all done as well. Our shrine is actually inside the house. We've got one inside the house. That's to keep all the bad that's to keep all the bad energy out of the house. A little bit like Feng Shui in Chinese mythology, where you put mirrors on every open door, or facing every open door to scare the spirits away from your house. It's a Buddha's blessing. It has little motifs on there. I don't think I've ever done a picture of it. It's Chanya, that's what they do, and I don't deny them their little bit of Buddhist culture. It doesn't affect me one bit. I just don't. I have no time for the imaginary friends living in the sky. My mother told me when I was 5 years old to stop talking to imaginary friends, so I did. I'm not going to talk about the ones that I conjure up through an archaic ritual, but let's just not go there. Paul in Sydney. I've applied 3 times for my Thai girlfriend to travel exemption to fly to Australia. The Border Force refuses every application. She has a 3-year tourist visa, but they still refuse to let her travel. Really? Oh my God, that'd fucking drive you nuts, wouldn't it? I got to remember not to swear as well. I had that video that went out this week that got the orange flag because, probably the title, this bullshit. Wasn't going to change the title because it's just bullshit. Robert Groves, Warren and Chanya. Is Chanya planning to get a spirit house in the front yard? Well, that's the spirit house. That's what they call them, spirit houses. Yeah, that's part of the plan, but I think it all happens when the spirit house goes in after they bless the house, and as we've determined, we're probably not getting the house blessing until probably November when we can actually have people around. We actually, next door neighbours had a wedding reception here yesterday. They did a street party thing, blocked off the whole street, for their friends to come over. They asked us if we minded, and we said no, we don't mind. You're blocking the whole street. It's what you do. But they gave us some fruit as a dispensation. Sorry, we're blocking the street. Here's some fruit for your trouble. I love that bit about Thailand. I think it's beautiful. Wayne Ewell, been stuck at home with the flu for the last 3 days. Doctor said to keep your fluids up. No worries, Doc. I'm on my 8th stubby already. I don't think he means alcohol, Wayne. That's probably the worst thing for you. Lowers your immunity. Australia prison won't let you fly in, and I think trying to get out, so trying to get out is just as hard, isn't it? William, go on.
I was going to say they need to have, they had escape from New York, escape from
we need
LA.
We need
an escape from Australia.
We need Snake Plissken in Australia to make a movie. Escape from Australia. It's the same when you leave 800,000 in a bank for a minimum of 6 months and 400 continuous. It's all about the cash control. I know. That doesn't worry me. Like I said, I just keep it balanced. I keep a balance of $1 million baht in there. That's it. It doesn't worry me in the slightest. It just, I just top it up when I need to top it up. It all works for me. I don't mind keeping $1 million baht here, and it earns nothing. It'd be nice to actually sort of have it, an investment policy or something which you could, get some sort of, rebate or cash. But it's, that's neither here nor there. It's just the fact that that's it. We're just a particular class of control which they can't control. This is where it comes down to, it's this whole got to control the population. We left Australia because the fact that, it's being, the way that they deal, like change lanes without indicating, here's a fine. Driving down the road without a seatbelt, here's a fine. Yeah. And they do. They got cameras everywhere. Don't use roaming. You can get a tourist SIM at the airport on arrival. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
normally you can. Right now, there's no opportunity when you go through the airport during COVID right now in order to do that.
Why is that?
I guess I should probably talk about the transit a little bit. I transited through Singapore, and that's extremely locked down. Right. So like in the US, COVID never really felt like a pandemic movie, whereas upon arrival to Singapore, like everything felt very much like a movie. I mean, that's an airport built for like tens of thousands of passengers, and there was maybe 200 passengers in the airport. But going through, you had to play follow the leader with like 2 or 3 people in Tyvek suits around you at all times.
Really?
Then when you got to Thailand, I would actually say Thailand's process was really fast and more efficient than Singapore, which surprised me quite a bit. Because you arrive in Thailand and you go to this place where there's like 2 lines of chairs, and they take all of your documents because you've got to have 5 or 6 pieces of paper to get in. And the first person like checks to make sure you have them all. Then you go to another person at a counter that gives you another piece of paper, and then you go to, and again, it's kind of linear. There's no like opportunity to like go somewhere on your own. You're pretty much going through this flow process on your own. And there's like 5 or 6 times that you stop and just give people your pieces of paper. And then you finally go to the regular immigration desk, but for me, there wasn't any line there. They had tons of staff. I probably saw like 300 airport staff here in Thailand, just dealing with the one flight. I imagine there were other flights too, but like the airport is empty other than the staff and my particular flight that was going through.
Yeah, but I suppose that this is the thing. They're still keeping people employed when they've got technically no job. These 300 people are probably typically the normal airport staff, but they're normally sort of out of sight, out of mind, because you've got a throng of people. Now that the fact that there's no people, you now notice them because they're all there, and that's the only people that are there. But I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's like there were situations where it's like I'm proceeding down this hallway, and then there's 2 people pointing me to go further down the hallway. It's like I don't really have a choice in the matter. Okay.
Yes. Andy Stubbs' article: does the health insurance has to be local one, or does it international? I have no idea. Right, there's still no information out there about what's required. I technically won't worry about it until the 22nd of August, which is 30 days before my renewal. I will walk, I'll ride down. I'm not going to walk down. It's only 5 miles away, but I'll go down to immigration and to say my immigration renewal is due on the 21st of September. What are my requirements this year? Please give me the list so I can be prepared. And that's all I'm going to do, right? Then I'll get the list. I'll say, you'll need this, and you'll need this, you'll need this. And I will get that list. I'll say, could I have that in writing, so the fact that you don't change the rules in the next 30 days, so the fact that I can come prepared and I don't get run around again, right? And hopefully that'll solve the problem, right? Deal with it then. But I'm pretty sure I don't have to get an international policy. I'm only here in Thailand. I live here. That's it. I live here in Thailand. Exactly why the 800,000 baht doesn't cover me. Hopefully this thing here will be rescinded and they'll have some common sense at some stage. Come and say hello, darling. Come and say hello. Before she goes, she's going to go to work. Come down. Say hello. Look, we can see your breast.
ฮัลโหล สวัสดีค่ะ
See, they say hello.
Hello everybody
Hello, everybody. That's right.
Hello, Chanya.
That's the best shot. I'm so sorry, but we could do that. There we go. Camera won't go up any further. There we go. So, are you ready to go to work?
Yeah
You can make colour now.
Not now
When can you make colour?
I'm not sure
Not sure. I
Yeah.
thought they made the rule now. No,
Pardon?
I thought they changed the rule yesterday.
No change yesterday but that's only นครปฐม
No.
I think but now I working stay in the Bangkok
Yeah, because
You know
the someone's in
Bangkok
Bangkok.
safe zone เนาะ red zone
Yeah.
and maybe change but him in the Thailand open school for baby and now have COVID again. I
Yeah.
have something to change again. I think so.
They just need to get the vaccine rolled out.
Yeah.
The numbers are just appalling. What they're, like the lack of, actually getting any action done is ridiculous. But again, I was looking at Australian numbers yesterday, and it's just looking just as bad. 27 million people in Australia have got 5 million vaccinated. Anybody confirm that? Todd, what's the numbers in Australia?
Yeah, I've been looking, but there's now issues in New South Wales and Victoria, and there's a few other people on the chat that can confirm details. But bye, Chanya. But there was a poll that was done by one of the newspapers, I can't remember which one, to do with mandatory vaccination for frontline health workers in WA, and 1/3 of the health workers said they'd rather quit their jobs than actually get the vaccination. So there's a little bit of a pushback here in Australia about people actually taking the vaccination. So I don't know. It's all up in the air, mate. It's all up in the air.
What vaccines does Australia have?
We have the Astra, we have the Pfizer, and it looks like they're going to introduce a third one. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of it. It'll come to me in probably about
Johnson & Johnson.
Moderna, I think it is.
Okay.
But they're now, because of another death related to the Astra, going to raise the age limit from 50 plus for the Astra and below 50 for the Pfizer to above 60 for the Astra and below 60 for the Pfizer. So it all depends on what stocks are available to what areas, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think people are sort of rushing to get it, even though states are in lockdown, and there's Queensland have now introduced I don't know how strong it's going to be, and I've only just come across the link this morning and haven't investigated it fully, a passport or a border pass to get into Queensland. I'll find more information for next week's chat, but it's the first state to introduce a vaccinated pass to get into Queensland. I suppose they're introducing it to make it easier for other states to get in, but it's like, now we need your passes. I don't know where that's heading.
Yeah. Like I sent an email off to the authority that's covering this vaccination process here in Thailand. Sent that off 2 weeks ago. They're talking about, all the registration. You can register for blah 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 and do all this sort of stuff. Specifically gave locations in Bangkok where you could do. So I just said, I live in Nakhon Pathom. Where do I go? Who do I see for this process? There's still no reply to the required email address that they say all correspondence has to go through. The whole thing is a complete sham. It really is. And I'm not going to sort of hound them about that situation. Honestly, the thing is a complete, what they call snafu. If you don't know this term, snafu, situation normal.
More like a foobar.
Situation normal. It's ridiculous. I just noticed Richie's here. G'day, Richie. How you doing? Whatever you guys do when you travel again, don't use budget direct travel insurance. Rip off, they will take your money and deny you. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I've always used, whenever I've used travel insurance, I always attach it to both my credit cards have a travel insurance policy, which covers medical and all that sort of stuff. And
Yep.
And that's all I've ever used.
Yeah, same with like extra insurance when you buy a rental or you get a rental car. Usually your credit card will actually cover it, so you don't have to get that
Got to check your policy
extra
though.
cost.
Got to check those details. But yeah, Commonwealth Bank.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
This is not all of them.
The Commonwealth Bank do cover you, and so does Citibank, and you just pay for the tickets with your credit card, and yeah, that again, that's all I would worry about. I just flatly refuse to get insurance from these people who just never want to pay you back. Right. At least, with the credit card company, they control the money flow. And I've never heard any credit card company denying. But again, I'm also fairly good health as well, so there you go. Apart from a few back pains when you do gardening. Ouch. William, even without health issues, you will pay higher costs the older you go. Well, actually, that's interesting. Like my mandatory policy here for my current visa renewal, which is 11,008. Was last year was 11,800 baht for my mandatory insurance policy that I was required to take out. I've been assured that price goes down every year that I don't make a claim. Even if I get older, and so long as now that I'm with them, they will insure me to 100. If I ever make it to 100, I doubt I'll ever make it to 100. But yeah, so long as I continue to keep that policy going, I am covered, and they can't deny me my renewal policy. But that's through, who's the company? It's one of the 12 that are the policies that are done through Thailand. It's the same as my insurance policy for my motorcycle. For the life of me, I've forgotten the name. Anyway, I'm not plugging them, they're insurance companies. But yeah, so they cover my motorcycle, but my motorcycle is done through an agent, and the agents are very good. They're always on top. Always contact me 30 days out. The fact that renewal's due. Actually, I think they contact me 60 days out to make sure I want to renew. I think it's quite bizarre.
That's cool.
Unlike I said, the insurance policy is not a problem, right? They 60 days out, they're messaging me online. They're sending me letters. So on and so forth. Are you going to renew? And I'm going, yes, but I'll renew when it comes to due date, or when I'm required to renew. And I'll give you the money 2 months out. I'll give you the money a week out. Keep stringing along, but I'll get 4 or 5 emails through them, for that period of 60 days until they actually buy the insurance. They're very good that way. But yeah, on the flip side, that's my insurance policy for my motorcycle. What about my registration and tax for my motorcycle? Nope, nothing in the mail, nothing. And we wonder why we have so many problems with people, with this sort of issue. Basically, you have to have insurance, right? You can't get the tax on your thing unless, of course, you've got some policy. So that you have to sort of do that as well. You get the idea? So if they don't notify, I reckon half the vehicles here in Thailand just simply don't have tax paid or insurance on them at all because they don't remind you. The Department of Land Transport has no method to remind you the fact that your registration is due. So people don't pay it. It's as simple as that. No reminder, don't pay. Crazy stuff we are going to be. Anyway, this is the stuff we've got to deal with here in Thailand. The stuff that will infuriate, people who come from the West, who are so used to the fact that, they'll hound you and hound you. Like I know when I was doing my registration for my vehicle in Australia, I would not only get one green slip insurance, which was my current incumbent policy, I would get 3 other companies also send me in the mail an alternative policy to go with them. It's all right, I'll stick with it. I haven't had an accident, I'll stick with who I've got. It's all the same price. But that's what happens, it's Australia, it's just the way it works over there. Yeah, not over here, unfortunately. You need to keep a calendar of when those things are due. And actually, I got to find out when Chanya's one bike for the bike insurance is due. The car insurance is due in October. But yeah, I've forgotten when her bike insurance is due. I didn't write that one down because it's not my bike. The email doesn't go to me. Or the information's not in my name. I think it's in my folder, but I just haven't looked at it. It's one of those things I've not got around to doing yet. Travelling man, if you can get insurance, you have to show 3 million baht. If you can't, you have to 3 million baht in a Thai bank account. Yeah, well, it's bloody bizarre, isn't it? We'll see what happens when the thing really sort of, we'll see what transpires in the next 3 months or 2 months. And I said, I'll deal with it when it comes time to deal with it. What should happen, we've got mandatory insurance. All I got to do is say to the current incumbent policy, providers, add this to your policy. That's all they have to do. Then it's automatically done and covers all us retirees. Nothing changes. How simple would that be? But as I said, this is Thailand. Nothing is simple.
Yeah, and it might change, 15 times, and like you were saying, in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
That's something that just watching it overseas and watching what happens here, it's just, that type of thing's going to happen. It's like TM30. Remember, everybody was in the huge kerfluffle about TM30 for a while?
And nothing's changed there apart from the TM28 side of the issue. Right. This is again, how the news played out on that thing was ridiculous. Right. Foreigners here in Thailand who are not property owners, I'm not sort of saying landowners, I'm saying house owners. Get the idea? Foreigners who are house owners here in Thailand, where they own their house and they lease the land, right? They have a yellow book, get the idea. Anyway. Flying out is impossible. I had a ticket. I got vaccinated. Then I got a letter from border control. I got told no 3 times to get out. If I could get out next year, they may never go back. Really? Yeah. Well, I said I got Martin managed to get us escape Australia, but I think the reason why Martin got out is he had an OB visa. He got a visa issued on business requirements or something like that. Not quite sure how he swung it, but I believe that's how he got out of Melbourne. There's something to do with a business-related visa. Business school goes on. It's just the way. Basically, I think it's tourism. You just can't get out on a tourist visa. I think education visas may be exempt, but again, you need to check that out. 0.5% I get now in my bank. 0.5. I think I only get 0.03 or something ridiculous like that, and they tax that too. Happens yearly. I'd have to see if I don't know when it happens. K-Bank. Talk amongst yourselves while I have a bank account. I did notice it last year. I got to do a reboot of my phone again. For some reason, something. Go away. Reboot.
Here are some results.
Oh, go away. I don't want. Why is that on the same button? Restart. I'll look at that later. Hey Bulldog, how long were you planning to stay in Thailand? We got 2.25% on FCD account. Oh, okay, that's nice. FCD, what's the FCD? But that's not the one, that's not the account, but is your 400,000 baht though, is it, Robert? Queensland just bought in a permanent border pass for 1 year. Okay, right. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Sorry, I'm just scrolling through. Krung Sri Bank 1.5% been getting for it for years. I think this is the type of account I've got. It's just the normal. what they call key card or a Visa debit card account. And the reason why they don't charge you Visa charges is because that's free, but you don't get any interest or something like that. It's just, and normally Thais don't keep $1 million baht in there, but yeah. Anyway, 4 months at least. Kungsuri Bank, one for getting 3 years. I flew out from Adelaide, but had to be 3 months minimum stay. My mate flew out, 3 months. So he got the STV. I'm guessing. My mate enrolled in Thai language school, and John Tierman was approved leave from Home Affairs. Okay, yep. So that's Wayne York confirming the fact you can get out on an education visa. That's interesting to know. And that's when Chanya was in the room. Jeez, I'm so far behind. Salon Galling, as we just established, she still has, because she's in bank. It's only just 2 main streets vertical across from where we are. We're in Nakhon Pantom, but the salon is actually technically in the Bangkok province. It's only sort of just over, not so much over the road, but over a couple of roads. And yeah, she's still in the red zone, and they still haven't mandated that opening yet. They've been pushing for it, and it's still in the news. I haven't even looked at the news this week. I've just been too busy playing games. Loopholes, yes, nice.
I think Blues is trying to talk to you, Wazza.
Is he? Well, Blue. Well, he take his mic off, he can come on here and say, just butt in. How far are we going to go down? Blue. Okay, that's game for politicians. Basically.
No, he's in chat. He's trying to talk in chat.
Is he?
Yeah, on Discord.
Well, he's got his microphone turned off, so I haven't heard him.
Oh, I can hear him.
Oh, okay. There we go. Sorry about that. So I think last time you were here, you had some background music on. I had to mute you, and I haven't turned it off.
No.
How are you, Blue?
Good. Still working in the airline.
Still working the airlines?
Yeah.
So that Psycho gave Singapore Airlines a bit of a good plug there.
Yeah. So how do you guys having food outside?
Having what outside?
Having your food, your meals.
How are we having our meals out?
Oh, how are you, being able to eat at restaurants or eat outside?
Yeah.
Our restaurants are open till 9 o'clock in the red zone, and 11 o'clock. They can be open at 11 o'clock outside the dark red zone. I think it's 9 o'clock. Red zone, which is where we are, is 11 o'clock now. I'm pretty sure that there's probably something on my. I've got something here ready to go. Where are we? Sort of Richard Barrow. Oh, whatever. People tell me their crap on their freaking newsfeed. Wish they wouldn't do that. Yeah, I know that's not real. It's just, honestly. Charles, I'll have to mute you.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. Don't put that stuff on my because it comes up in my feed, you people. What I was trying to sort of see. So government eases COVID restriction curves. So what's the latest? Government has eased some COVID-19 restrictions to allow dine-in services at restaurants to open until 11 p.m. and reduced the designation of 5 dark red zone provinces to 4. So, have we got something on that? Have we got more details on that? Bax President, another term held 15. Free state quarantine for Thai set to end in July. And the King's working on something. Come on. Thai plan to reopen the country. Trying to find information there on my feed can be a little bit challenging. What at NNT? What have they got? Check out the size of that diamond that got dug up. Really Department of Land Transport to open again for driving tests. This is another thing that basically, if you had an expired driving license, you're allowed to drive on Thai roads because you've got an expired license because you couldn't get your license renewed. Bizarre. And just experts vaccines. So we've got more vaccines coming in. Trying to find some information about what the new requirements are. Okay, maximum strict controls. Bangkok, Bangkok, Nonthaburi, Pattum Thani, and Samut Prakan. They're the 4 red zones. Maximum controlled areas. I'm just trying to see. Okay, dark red zones. Gatherings of 50 people or more. Restaurants are open at 11 p.m. and over 50% capacity in air-conditioned venues will remain barred. Outdoor sports will be allowed, but department stores will continue to have a 9 p.m. shut. Educational locations will not be allowed to open. For red zones, gatherings restrict to 100 people. Restaurants may open to 11 p.m. Department stores and retail spaces and operate normally, and education institutions may request authorisation for students. But I'm trying to find the information regarding salons. So I just haven't seen that this week. I haven't seen it come up on my feed this week because of China go into space. Yesterday, nothing there. I think again, news reports have stopped reporting it because one day it's on, the next day it's off, and nobody can make any sense of anything anymore. People have basically got so sick of there. Journalist briefing, announcers. New COVID clusters, vaccination, fever, more about detection rather than what's being barred. And this guy here reckons he's going to open 120 days. I think it's a political stunt, that is. We're at 2 days now. Reopening of venues. That's all the news has got, the reopening of venues, but really nothing about the current state of the thing. There was something at the beginning of the week that came through that they were requesting it. I can only imagine the fact that because it's not really made much news headway in the last 4 or 5 days that basically they denied it again or something, I'm guessing. Human trial first. Where are we? We're 15th of June. What is it today? This is the 19th, so we're back 4 days. I think I wasted my time enough on that. Anyway, so back to talking amongst the people, not following the news. Singapore had 20 plus cases and whole island is shut down. Yeah, I know. Yeah, another 3,667 cases. Again, it's just they're just Thailand is, when it gets to these little markets and factory working and things like that, people are seeing it's really not affecting them. They're getting a cold, they're a carrier, they bring it into the thing, and then it's more important that they work, right? Because they've got no money, they've got no support. So they're bending the rules now simply to put food on the table. And this is what's going wrong here in Thailand is, police just don't do anything about it. Nobody's doing anything about it. And you get these little clusters, I think we had one here on, reported last week of a factory here with 400 staff. That factory had an outbreak and they, it's only 3 miles down the road, One person brings it in, they picked it up at a market or a wet market somewhere or wherever they might have picked it up, friend's party, don't take it to work because they've got to put food on the table. You know, they've got a bit of a headache. You know, headache's a sign, but they've got to get to work. They've got to, you know. There is no sick pay in most of these factories. There is no social security. You know, the social security is you and your family. That's your social security here in Thailand. This is what breaks the whole system. Travelling man, I'm not sure if they can get the virus out of Bangkok. No, I don't think it can be, unless of course they get all of Bangkok vaccinated. It's going to play through. It'll never go. We'll be in restrictions for the next 5 years the way things are going. That's the case. I believe it's just, again. What about this flu vaccine that they can't even produce a flu vaccine for the Northern Hemisphere because the people in Australia, which is where they normally the incubation hotbed to actually create the next year's virus, the antiviral vector, right, is actually created from the Australian population who get the flu. And from what I understand, there's not enough cases of influenza in Australia at the moment to actually produce the antiviral that they need for the Northern Hemisphere. What's going on there? You know, says something about, you know, the whole situation. Obviously masks work because people don't spread the virus.
On a lighter side, good to finally see you got a mask that doesn't run down your nose when you're talking on a video.
Yeah, it's an interesting design, isn't it? You know, it's with and yeah, you can talk inside it without the. You know, and that was about 30 baht for 10. You know, we've got a couple of packs supplied there. You know, change them every couple of days. Somebody else will say you should change them every day. Well, grow up. You know, I'm out and about for maybe an hour. I think I can make a mask last 2 or 3 days. Will you just have to learn? I think, Robert, we just have to learn to live with it, don't it? That's it. We've learned to live with influenza for the last 100 years, right? We'll just learn to live with this one. Yeah, and it's all about this is the economy, you know. You broke the economy, now you're trying to fix it, and you're doing it all the wrong way. Anyway, enough of me whinging about, you know, running a government. I certainly don't want to run a government. You know. I want to spend my last, you know, 20 years on this planet without worrying about everybody else. You know, as I said, you know, for 15 years I worried about the computers running to keep, you know, 300 people employed properly. You know. You know, people don't think about that, but you know, that was my job. You know, those computers needed 100% uptime, or 99.99, I think 6 nines they called it, 99.9999% uptime, which was no more than 10 minutes in a 365-day year. Should a computer be down, right? And I managed to keep my computers. One case in 15 years where we had an outage that affected our business production for 4 hours, right? And I think I did pretty good. You know, kept the wheels of our business industry running quite well.
Mm.
You know, what else could they want from me? I've done that for 15 years. I've done my bit. Right? Just leave me in peace now. But I know that's part of the problem why we get to singled out. You know, that's part of the population where we have money and they can't tax it. You know, and that's all it comes down to.
It's a double variant.
How do you mean by that, Blue?
No, because you guys were actually discussing about the virus, but what happens is that Singapore has experience with the double variant thingy, and those people who had vaccine like me, we still get it, but we won't die from it. We'll suffer in hospital for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a sliding scale. So you know there's you know like the vaccine efficiency to prevent hospitalisation has been drastically reduced.
Yes.
Right. There have been a few deaths from the vaccine, which have been they're trying to pin on the vaccine, but these cases are special cases where it was to do with people and their current health status, right? They've had high blood pressure, or they've got thrombosis, or they've got something or other else. They've got a pre-existing condition which the vaccine is exacerbating, right?
Yeah. Right.
That's going to happen. You will never create anything that will be 100% effective, right? But that doesn't mean you have to not deny it for 99.9999% of the population. Those people, unfortunately, they're the unlucky few that you're going to have to take special care of. They know what to look out for. If your medical records are up to date, then they're going to either do the right thing and advise against it, or take a different course of action, right? Give you, so sorry, but we can't vaccinate you because you're in that special 0.001% critical case group. So you will have to stay in prison, right?
Wow.
Or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to deal with it. But that doesn't mean you deny it for the other rest of the population, right? And again, a vaccinated person can still carry the virus on their skin, right? They touch a door handle that has the virus, and they go through a second door and touch that door handle, they can spread it. That doesn't affect them.
Something really weird. One of my medical friends told me, he works as a paramedic. He said that there's actually hasn't been really any cases of people contracting the virus from touch surfaces. I don't know how true that is. It's just something he said.
Well, as I said, what's the test case scenario? As you know, most of these tests are done in the laboratory, right? They put the viral vector on a surface, right? Then they go back and swab test it every hour, and to say, well, that virus test, right, for all the different surfaces that we've tested on, is still alive 6 hours later, or 8 hours later, or 10 hours later. That's the test. In a real world situation, it can't be tested. Mind you, they have found in certain situations, in certain climatic situations, that where people have been, they've come in and actually swab tested, tables and chairs and found trace elements of the virus. They don't say how much, but again, the test comes positive. If the fact that if potentially you needed 20 parts per million, right, as a vector that would be contagious, that doesn't, but the swab test only had 5 parts per million. Well, it's still, the virus is there, but it's not at a level that can be contracted, right, on a healthy human being, right? That's really what it comes to. See, this is the thing. The information is so sparse and so unhelpful, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's the difference between people who get COVID that have a minor headache or get nothing, or like this lady that I knew that I worked with that got it, and she's still dealing with the effects like 10 months after she got it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's all about dose. There's nuance to this, and unfortunately that's what is left out of like all of the news and everything, because then they would actually have to say something, then they'd have to back up what they say.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody wants to do that.
Nobody wants to stick their neck out for this, and
even
go on.
Guys, even the guys who, the people, I don't know how to put it, it's like even the public who had taken any kind or any forms of vaccination, right? And some, like, literally they pass away, and most of the medical authorities, which I call it doctors, right? They sort of like sidestep the topic and say that this guy actually died of heart failure, this guy died of blood pressure. This guy
you've got a good point there.
And
what caused it? Yeah.
It's I look at it, it's like some kind of circle shows right now in the medical science nowadays. Nobody really like comes out and say, no, this is not right. This is something is wrong with the vaccine and things like that. And everybody is just like, okay, let's go with it. Let's go with it, that kind of thing, Yeah, that's my point of view.
Yeah, look, our current conspiracy theorist here, Andy Stubbs, he'll probably sort of, give you his angle on the whole thing. And it's all a government ploy to control our population. So if you don't toe the governmental policy line, everything else is false, right? And look, you've got to look at some of this stuff, The current flavour of this month, the month of June, is the fact that the virus started and was spread from a lab. That's the current flavour, and that's what's being played out as the main alternate story, which is now getting some air coverage, but it has been suppressed for the last 18 months. But that was talked about in March, April last year, right? And it was valid back then. The person, there was a we don't even hear about it these days. But what about the lab technician who had filed? There was actually screenshots of this information on what they call the journal websites, that she discovered this and that and everything else, and that's all been suppressed in China. She has disappeared completely off the map. She has been made to disappear. That was April last year, right? Got news coverage for about a year, for about a month, and then it was all suppressed. Well, she's still disappeared, but it's no longer news. Right, but she was the one who wrote, oh my God.
Is she being suppressed, or she has been assassinated like J.F. Kennedy or that?
Well, who knows? What do they do in China? We really don't know what they do in China. It's the Great Wall of China prevents us from really sort of seeing what's going on there. I said, William, it doesn't help when people travel from airport and go to quarantine in Bangkok and Pattaya. Better quarantine at the airport. Only, well, again, I don't know how would they, that's the question. So how did they travel, for you, Psycho, from airport to the ASQ? What was the travel arrangements?
It was a personal shuttle, basically. There was only... So when you get an ASQ, the ASQ has a partner hospital.
Right.
Mine in this case was Boomgrad Hospital. So got a shuttle from basically it was a private taxi from the airport, where the driver there was a piece of plexiglass between me and the driver was in a Tyvek suit, just like everyone else.
Okay. Biohazard suit.
Yeah, like everybody working for the airports since Singapore, except for airline employees. So like airport employees were all in Tyvek suits. Airline employees all had masks and face coverings or eye coverings.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so your opinion is the fact that if you were a carrier, although you've had your vaccine, if you were a carrier, almost 0% chance that the driver could have caught it. It was that well protected.
Yeah, it would be extremely unlucky or unlikely that the driver would be able to catch it.
I think the driver has been vaccinated also.
But did they then take that taxi to? You don't know. Was the taxi taken somewhere else to be completely sterilised? That's the
I don't know.
Unknown.
I have what I imagine, but I don't know. That's just conjecture on my point.
Did it smell like chlorine or anything else like that when you got in the taxi? Did it smell like disinfectant?
No, but neither did my seat on the airplane, and those are all fogged anyway. So I mean, it wouldn't have a distinct smell.
Well, I know when I go to my bathroom here, I've only got the blue loo in the toilet. I can smell that when I go in there, and
but that's that's a different. That's protecting your toilet from a different thing. They're not putting blue stuff in the airplane seats.
Oh,
and
the
taxi
point,
seats.
it's a smell.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, there is one brand of hand sanitizer that, to me, smells like tequila.
Is there? I want that. Push come to shove, I got something to drink. Yeah, warrant for PM. Thanks, Robert. Yeah, I don't really want to be one. I don't think they could pay. Anybody who could do that, I think, is it Douglas Adams said it the best, which is the fact that, anybody who has ever, ever wanted to be president is in no way, shape or form capable of doing the job.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to, but yeah, I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, it's just I don't really want the job, and anybody who have half a brain don't want the job. Yeah. There is less deaths now than previous. Well, you can see those numbers if you show those numbers. Actually, I did want to just do a bit of a plug. There is a super chat down below. Because we've talked so much about COVID, this thing, they'll probably demonetize this video. So hit me up with a $2 coffee charge. That usually covers the. There's less death now. Yes, we did that. In Hawaii, 70% got at least one shot and 60% fully vaccinated. I got both shots while I was there. Less than. I've actually heard some of the group on our line group.
That's a great photo, Warren.
This one, yeah, that changes automatically. But yeah, some of the guys on our line group were actually flying out of the country to America just specifically to get vaccinated with the vaccine they want.
Those are the Thai elites, right?
Well, that's what they're doing. They're flying out. They can't get the vaccine that they want. They don't want the Chinese one, so they're now making plans to fly to California or Texas. That's what I've heard. Fly out for 2 weeks, get the vaccine, then come back again. And some people get a bit freaking over the top with this shit. I really do. For the first time in history, that a virus that is supposed to be so deadly it will destroy more lives than the actual virus. Yeah, I know. It's a joke, isn't it? And I just scrolling off. I'm trying to keep up with the thing while we're talking. Talk amongst yourselves. You could take the floor, Psycho.
Where's Stephen?
Sorry, I was in the middle of doing something else at the moment at the same time.
Okay.
Get off that porn site. God, Jesus. I'm sure they're tracking you.
What do you mean? There's no porn in Thailand.
Not at the moment.
Exactly. Those poor girls. They probably spent the last 3 years of their life, on Easy Street. Now they're going to have to get it behind a plough a fucking rice field. It must be killing them. I really must. But mind you, I bet they'll lose a few pounds while they're doing it. Because then have you noticed over the last probably 5 years, the girls in the bars have been getting a bit more pudgy?
Yeah, but still compared to Western.
Oh yeah, mate. They've been putting
and
on a
I
few
have
pounds.
no room to talk either.
But they've been getting a bit podgier. A few of them not, but most of them have been getting a bit podgier over the last few years. Easy life, easy street, and now they have to go and work on the farm. Poor girls. Such is life. Was it a big W? Lads, I've had 2 doses of Pfizer. Does this mean I don't have to wear condoms now? Crack me up. I'll be health minister. Things will change. Yeah, okay, Andy. So Richards is saying the microRNA vaccines have caused heart inflammation in healthy young people. Yeah, but have those healthy young people also been subject to the MDMA party drug? So you've got to ask questions, right?
Yeah, and I can tell you, and I only have my experience to add to this, which is I got the Moderna one. The second shot is a bitch. I will say that, but I have not experienced any ill side effects ever since probably a week after that second shot.
Yeah. Now, I think if they did a clinical test on the mRNA on people who admit to taking MDMA, because I know what the chemical formula MDMA does to the body, right, I think you will find a link. But of course, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a virologist, I'm just a logician. I know how things work. I'm an engineer. Right? Engineers for government? No, thank you. I hung for a good while, but after more than a year of behaviour change, I'm a different person. Not sure if I'll be able to go. Must move into the new way of life.
Yeah.
This is a new way of life, Craig. It's just one of those things. We're just going to have to get used to it. It's just a different sort of style of living. And quite frankly, my life, apart from every couple of weeks going in to see Susie, in Bangkok, and going to see the other expats that live in the Bangkok area who would turn up at the meetup. My life hasn't changed apart from the requirement to wear a mask. Everything else is still the same. Right? I'm wary of, the distance between two different people. When I go into places, I am cautious of being crowded by people. But that's it. It doesn't stop me from going to the market. I just tend to, when people are walking towards you, I tend to, before you wouldn't give two thoughts about brushing shoulders with them in that narrowness. Now I will, if I see somebody coming towards me, I tend to sort of make sure that there is a clear distance between us if we can, and that's the only difference in my life. It hasn't really impacted me outside that. My life is on the computer. That's always has been. So I got paid to sit behind a computer screen for quite a few years there, and now I just do it for recreation. Nothing's really changed apart from the paycheck. Yeah, super chat, guys. There could have been enough of the viral load on the surface. Yeah, okay, I said it was something in response to something else. There would have been enough of a viral load on a surface to transmit. It depends, obviously, the viral loads and everything else, doesn't it? I don't want to have a life like a battery chicken. Yeah, I know that's where it's getting to. And I'm pretty sure that's part of the reason what's happening. Governments have lost control. American government has lost control of their people. And I think the rest of the world is just following suit.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm leaving, or that's why I left.
Yeah. Good choice.
Yeah, no, I think Western governments right now are kind of a shit show.
Yeah.
But
and Travelling Man's got a good point. Like after watching that series, Utopia, to sterilise the people. Like how do we know the fact that there's not a precursor there that combines itself in the body of our species, or if they change the formula down the track to actually introduce sort of a protein molecule, right? That does cause sterilisation of the population in 90% of the population. That was the basic idea behind that series, Utopia. The fact that they would sterilise 95% of the population.
Is that a show or a movie?
No, it was a TV series. It was definitely worth getting out. It was one of the better English productions if you ever get the chance to see it. But yeah, I also remember there was an episode. Actually, there was 2 episodes based around this thing here, in Stargate SG-1, where they met this advanced race in their travels, right? And the one thing led to another. This race would take over a planet by subversion. They're killing off the host planet population and replacing it with their own. The first one was done biologically, and the second one was done through sterilisation. They actually finally made contact. I think it was I can't remember what the 2010 was the episode name, and because don't forget that was produced in 2001. The episode was 2010, where Jack O'Neill, well, they're at the Stargate Command. The gate opens up for a brief second, and a piece of paper falls through the gate, through the thing, and that's obviously the precursor of the episode. Where the fact that they managed to get the gate open and send, and they managed to get the gate opening through a what they call a mass coronal ejection, which sent the gate connection back 10 years into Stargate Command. So they got a message to say, don't go to that planet, because, but what happened was the fact that they were sterilizing the planet, by subversion. We're going to give you 200 years of good health, but, unfortunately you can't have children. Who knows?
Well, no, I don't think that's necessarily the case with the Western governments, because Western governments want people in a way. They want tax farming. Basically, people are resources.
Well, that's it. That's
what
where
they want to do.
Yeah, the conspiracy goes well until you look at it from that angle, and that's exactly the reason why it's not happening, right? Because they have to keep industry running. The function of industry and the function of industry growth is all based around the precursor, the fact that you need an increasing population taking an increasing amount of trinkets that have no bearing on their actual life well-being. Right? If you look at 100 years ago, what we have now on the average person's lifestyle, good health, a roof over your head, right, and and clean clothes, or access to sanitary clothing, and just that part of life. The function of propagating the species, right, which would be a utopia 100 years ago, is now done. We have reached a utopian society who is now sort of subjected to all this subliminal advertising, to have the latest phone, or the latest iPhone, or the latest this, the latest that, the latest whiz bang, the latest YouTube shorts that have no bearing on your life, no bearing on your health, no bearing on your well-being, apart from to keep you entertained and ignoring really what's going on, which is really what it is. We are being.
Well, here's my thought on why they'd want fewer people. Is that we're moving over to a system from taxing labor and industry to taxing wealth. And if there's going to be food and or water issues in the future, you'd want less people to get upset about it.
Yeah, but it's going to take 100 years to do it, and in 100 years, the 100 years of inconvenience is going to crush the spirit of most people. They'll outlaw, 10 years from now, they're outlawing fun, because we can't have people having fun.
Oh no, that's too risky. There's too much. Yeah, you can't do that unless you can, completely control all of the risk to anything.
Yeah, risk mitigation. What does that entail?
Oh, that's it. It is a joke. Key one. Every one of my friends that had the Moderna vaccine had side effects after the second shot, some serious, so I got the Pfizer. I just don't, at the moment I don't have access to anything.
I've known people that have gotten the Pfizer too, and they definitely had way less side effects. Again, everybody that I know that has had the Moderna, they haven't had side effects long term after the shot. It's only been that the second shot being a royal bitch, and then maybe stuff up to like 2 weeks after, and then nothing.
I would like to see a statistical study done on the people who have had, or the level of effective side effects of people who have had the vaccine, and compare those numbers with what other vaccines they've had in the last 5 years. Because myself, I haven't had a vaccine of any shape, way, shape or form since the age of 15. There hasn't been a foreign anything put in my body apart from an anaesthetic, at the hospital, when I had the kidney stone. That's the only thing that's been shot into my body. Outside experimental, fun drugs. But You know what I mean? But you get the idea. That's, you know, where's that study? You'll probably find the fact that the people who have zero side effects are the people who have never had a vaccine, because, you know, their body does the right thing and creates the antibodies. It's you know, this has got something foreign. Because I would be at the office, you know, amongst other people that are dropping like flies with influenza every year, right? Half of those are getting the influenza vaccine, and then they're dropping like flies anyway. You know, and I'm sitting there.
Did you play with dirt as a kid?
Not only, we used to dig holes in the yard and have mud baths, you know. But you know, honestly, you know, we used to play with sticks. We used to make bows and arrows with sticks and fire them at people with pointy ends.
Yeah, I have a feeling like that.
Nobody lost an eye.
There's something to that also.
Totally agree.
Nobody's lost an eye.
Cotton wool kids. They call it cotton wool kids, don't they? That's the term they use now.
Yeah, I think I grew up fairly average and fairly well sort of adjusted to, you know, the dangers of life and the dangers of pointy sticks being shot at you at high velocity. You know, we survived. Some didn't. You know, I know sort of one of my friends. He climbing a tree and fell out of the tree and that stick went through his chest, missed his heart by millimetres. He was in hospital for 12 weeks, you know, through multiple surgeries, but he finally pulled through. You know, that's the sort of life we led. You know, tree climbing. You know, almost died of a heart puncture from a stick that went through his chest. You know, but you know, I had a 4x2 land on my head when I was 7 years old. You know, I got stitches in my head, you know, knocked a bit of sense into me, I'm sure. Or knocked it out of me, who knows? I can't really tell the difference. But that's what we did in those days, you know. These days, the kids even make cubby houses in trees anymore. Is that something that kids do? I don't even know. I'm so disconnected from that part of society.
No, they don't.
You know?
I don't even know why I have a yard. You can't get them out there.
There's a meme for that.
Nowadays, they love iPad.
It's, you know, the meme is, you know, get inside, you know, do your homework, get outside and play. That meme I wrote, it goes around from time to time. Bobby Crush, g'day Bobby. I hope this pandemic continues for another year. I got a bulk pack of masks and I've got 36 left. Yeah, well, you're only supposed to use them for a while. You know, they are single-use masks. I think there's something about single-use masks. There's a saying on these ones. But maybe it's written in Chinese. That's Korean actually. It's not Chinese. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they call them single-use masks, which we use for 2 or 3 days at a time, and we throw them out. But hey, you know, it's just a sniffle. It's just the flu. It's just the coronavirus, which have been around. Again, I keep on reminding people, the influenza is a coronavirus. It has similar spike proteins to the one that's going around. It has a different chemical formula, but it still works the same. I
could be wrong, though.
I could be wrong. Well, William's off for a swim. He's had enough. What is it, 1:45? We're coming up to wrap-up time anyway. What? No super chat today. How slack. And who's just bounced in? Oh, Oggie's come back from his little snooze.
Yeah.
Wearing a mask to protect you from a virus is like wearing underwear to protect you from fart. Good one, Mitch. That's why we love you. Bring in the obvious. Andy Stubbs, QR code was used to track some cooks in Perth this week. QR is only used to track health issues. Yeah, right. Trust where we use the QR code. Well, I use the QR code when I go in. You know, I've got the app that has the Bluetooth, you know, broadcasting and everything else. And I got no problem, you know, that I go to that store or this store. You know, well, it's fine by me. You know. If you just ask Google for that data, I'm sure they'd give it to you anyway. If you paid for it, that is. The trouble is, that's the thing, you've got to pay for it. You know, Google don't give any of their data away for free, but I'm pretty sure it's bloody cheaper than getting an app made. It works.
No government will wants to pay Google or any company as a liability for their country expenses.
No. Well, it can't be on the books,
Yeah.
yes. I know. It's just one of those sort of things. It's just the rules that we've got that make society just the way it is today is just ludicrous. Thankfully, we are here in Thailand, which is the Wild West. You know, there are a bunch of rules, but it's only when you actually start, you know, blatantly, you know, ignoring those, you know, sensibility rules do they start to single you out. You know, wearing a helmet while riding a motorcycle. Well, you know. Maybe if you're on a main road and they've got a you know a traffic cop on there, he might pull you over and give you a £300 fine. Maybe, you know, depending.
Well,
on-
recently you're some kind of like caught up on a bike ride. What happened to your bike ride?
Well, it's basically none of my riding crew are riding anywhere. I'm on scooter distance. I have been thinking about getting what they call a 360 camera, you know, the Insta360, and mounting that to the scooter. I have thought about it, taking you for an instant 360 ride around, you know, just when we go up to the markets and all that sort of shit. But you know, I'm not going anywhere. You know, they're basically that's recreational travel, which is sort of frowned upon. And it's been the middle of summer, and we don't want to ride anywhere in the heat of the day anyway. We normally only did our rides from you know October through till to February anyway. That was when we did most of our rides. Last year, because of all the shit with COVID, we didn't do much. You know, there was a couple of rides done, and that was it.
Right.
So yeah. And going for a bike ride for the just sake of using fuel, it doesn't seem to ring any bells with me. That's a sensible thing to do. Yeah, body crush. Anything shot into your body. Come on, Warren. Well, the only pharmaceutical registered by the pharmaceutical industry, yes, was the what was it, the tetanus injection I had when I stepped on a nail in the backyard in my house in Australia. That was when I was 15. That's the last time I had an injection from a doctor. That's all I'm saying. Okay, not saying anything else. Most of the stuff was taken subdermally. I didn't like needles anyway. Subdermal, that's where you put stuff underneath your lips and it goes through the bloodstream that way, if you didn't know. Anything shot at you, I did that. I had shingles vax. I was down for a week. Okay.
I've read the news. They say they have vaccine in form of tablets. I'm not so sure.
Well, actually, there's a few things coming out. They've got a like a breathalyzer that's in production now, which can pick it up. It's still in testing phases, and that's really what it's going to come down to. You know, something that can directly detect instantly. You know, when the virus is present. That's what they need. They're waiting 24 to 48 hours is not helping anything, right? Just having sort of a random breathalyzer would be a way to go if they could get that perfected. I was reading something else this week about a new chemical, a new electronic substrate based on graphene that can also detect the virus. That's going through with the industry trials to see if it can be made commercially viable. And again, they can do wonderful things in these, what do you call it, electronics labs, because they have a meticulous way of creating, circuitry, one-off circuits to do these tests. But when it comes to the practicality of actually sort of doing a sort of a substrate on silicon, that takes massive investment in for Intel to make a chip. No, that's 5 years away. But that's what it's going to take, such is life. You've got to realise that these things aren't instant. I want to wear an ankle bracelet that saves me pulling my phone to snap a QR code wherever I go. Oh, I forgot. I don't do that anyway. Yeah, Andy. I had the coronavax last. Yeah, okay. So that's in Chinese. Is it Chinese or Korean? What? I'm not even getting a translate on that. I'd have to go to the other page. I'd like to know what he said. Where is it? There it is. Last, and then he goes to there. And I right click, I go translate. And I'm fine, nothing to worry about, he says. In Chinese, that is. Is that the Chinese detected? Yes. Boom, yes, JJ. Anyway, so getting to close, as I said, I did quickly show you I wanted to get a bit of feedback on that, so let's see if I can bring up that video again. Where is it? Only visitor, so click on that. Right, and so click on that, open there, so this video.
Well, the things you find in Thailand: coffee
Thailand
mix,
open by
espresso,
Christmas, you think?
ganja coffee, ganja coffee. Oh my God, gotta love it. This is where we get our water from. 45 baht for 45 baht for a dozen bottles. So we usually get about 6 at a time. Plus we buy some coffee. Yes, get my coffee. I gotta have my coffee. Oh my God.
And done. So I'm going to do more of that sort of what do people think? Do you want to see more of those little snippets? I'm just looking for some feedback. It's only from your encouragement will I actually get my finger out and do that sort of stuff. But I'm thinking of. I don't want it to sound like I'm copying Rob and 20 Seconds in Thailand, which is where he started his channel. But this is a new thing called Shorts. It's something that's coming to YouTube. It's in America at the moment. It's a few other places around the planet. If you look at your mobile app on your phone, you'll already have a link in your phone for the shorts that are being trending. They are there. It is a new format of YouTube. It's not going to change my current, weekly videos. It's not going to change my current YouTube streaming. But it's something I'm going to be thinking of adding extra, right? Which will, once I've got half a dozen of these short little snippets, sort of just little refreshing little snippets of Thai life. I said, ganja coffee, we were at the markets Wednesday last week or Thursday last week. Walking past, there was a lovely girl there selling ganja tea. I could buy it in a bottle. It was, all you had to do is reheat it, and then she had actually packets of ganja on the shelf. You could buy what they call the THC, the ganja, which is the hemp without the THC. You could buy it in packet form, in plastic bags, already packaged for you. Take it home, make your own tea, right? It would have made a lovely little snippet. I didn't think about it then, but when we get back there, I'll do a little 20, 30 second funny bit. I don't know if I can be funny. I'm going to try and be funny, but just little snippets of just the little things that make life amusing here in Thailand. The things that that aren't worth making a long video about. So what do you think about that shit?
It's like a TikTok video, right?
It's a direct competition to TikTok. Yes.
So basically, YouTube is losing the ages. so they are trying to get it back from TikTok.
Well,
Yeah, they're trying to get the mobile market, the short, quick mobile market, like Instagram stories or whatever.
So are they starting to lose the
Guys,
millennial
actually-
market because they don't have an attention span that lasts beyond 60 seconds?
Yeah, guys, I think I had a question here. It's like, you know, in the future, right? We had a phone, regardless it's Android, Apple, whatsoever, and then we had like, I think 1 million apps for videos. Due to the competition, everybody wants a pie of it. TikTok, YouTube, and then so on. So it goes on the whole damn list, you know. Yeah.
mhm.
And it's
Yes,
like- yeah.
Mitch thinks shorts. Why not? They could be fun. So there we go. One of our channel members has given the thumbs up to the whole idea. So I think that's a good plus.
Yeah, honestly, I would say do that, but just, don't change your entire channel to that.
No, they're as I said, they will go up. They're not going to go. They may go up for preview. I still haven't worked it out. That one there is unlisted. I gave a link to the members, in the community section. My community members, they do get, preview of that sort of stuff. If you look at my channel, go to the Wine's channel there, and go back there. You'll see the community members. They get members only. They get preview of the videos before everything else goes up. Before the public get them, and they've got a preview of that. They can check it out. I will do a playlist at some stage when I've got at least 6 done. I'll make a playlist which will be for public consumption, and then I may just start releasing them. A few days after they go to the members. They'll still be there. They're just currently they're unlisted. And then I think you saw the fact that it was unlisted. But yeah, so they'll just go.
I think you and Chanya do enough that there will be enough content to do those shorts, Warren. I think you guys get up to enough fun stuff that there'll be plenty of content for that.
Yeah, well, there was something that's like, this is the thing, because she does this. What was, this is a TikTok one she did last week.
หนูแทบจะไม่ใช่ลูกแล้ว หนูแทบจะเป็นลูกน้องคนหนึ่งแทบจะไม่ใช่ลูกคนหนึ่งแล้วอ่ะ เพราะว่าหนูเป็นเด็ก
I like the one that he goes to those
ใช่ไหม
ambiguous
เพราะว่าหนูช่วย
restaurants
ใช่ไหมคะ
and had a nice lunch every
หนูแทบจะไม่
Wednesday.
ใช่ลูกแล้ว หนูแทบ
That is like totally,
Yeah, but there was something else. There was this little 30-second one there, which could have been made into one.
This is some kind of a lashing. Oh,
This is the guy's working there. I just needed a bit of commentary. I didn't take this one. She did. The guy's painting the fence and all that sort of stuff. Just little snippets. She's always doing them. I said she does it on TikTok. If you're not, there was this one as well. What was this thing? I was having a whinge about traffic or something.
I think you cannot driving now because you ไม่มีน้ำใจ
Why?
ฮะ
What you want?
you อารมณ์เสียตลอดเวลานะ ไม่หัดมีน้ำใจบ้างเลย ขับรถต้อง
that means the house
มี
is not
น้ำใจ
ready and
บ
then
น
you
ท้อง
guys
ถนน
move in already.
จะได้ไม่เกิดปัญหา ไม่ใช่เอาแต่ใจเอาแต่ใจ
What angry that I know what you
เข้าใจไหม
what you talking about?
you just to say me yes or no
No.
thank you I think
So we got all these little snippets that happen all the time, which just don't go public, and they're perfect. They just need it just needs a bit of translation of what she's saying there. She was basically saying, "Don't get angry when I drive." Every time, 5 years ago, when I drove in Thailand, I wouldn't give a two hoots about people cutting in front of you. Now I say something. That's what the basic conversation was about. But now I do. I said, bloody Thai. What do you get your license out of a cornflake packet, sort of thing? That's what life is like here. You get used to everything, but the traffic just gets, you get your fill. You've had enough of it, so you just tend to say stuff. But yeah, she does TikTok all the time. If I could just get the same videos and get her to put it on the YouTube channel. Just got to give her upload rights to the YouTube. We could make it there as well. That was me doing her birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Me not being
birthday
singing properly.
to you. Happy birthday, my sweetheart. Happy birthday to you. And now,
Get the idea. So there's always little snippets, 30 seconds here, this is, and they're just Thai life, which we never see a video about, It's just, this is just, you have to get the idea, these things here, I think people want to start seeing.
oh, the big fish chase the little fish, darling.
So she put the little one, that's the one, pause that there. You just got to rewind it. You'll sort of see it there in a second. So if you put this fish in here, you'll see the little white one there float. Where is it?
Yeah.
There. See the big catfish chasing the little things you just put in the water. It's got to last 5 seconds. Honestly, Is that cruelty or what? That's what I'd make on that video. Thai cruelty. You buy these fish for 50 baht. You paid for the little bag of fish to go and make a blessing, only to send it to its death.
No, it's
Hilarious.
blessing for the bigger catfish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true. The blessing isn't for the little one; it's for the big
Oh,
one.
is it, guys? Is that what it
for
is?
the
Oh,
big one,
okay. I missed the point. I missed the point. Okay.
She's praying for the big catfish, not the small one.
See, you got to look at it in a different sense. Thai life is all about looking at it through different eyes, and that's the thing that I think we really miss in all this vlogging, because we're snapshotting things in our life, and this is what we do. But that's funny, right? But it only becomes funny when we talk about it, Anyway, I just think there is a potential to have a fairly, interesting sort of sideline to the current channel. YouTubers are saying, don't bother about creating a new channel for your shorts. It's all part of the YouTube ecosystem. You can start a new channel if you want, but they're not sort of recommending it. They said just leave it as it is a subsection of the normal channel viewing.
Guys, the YouTube are actually losing their grip lah.
In the what?
Because basically they are losing their grip because TikTok is really hot and popular right now. It's on almost everybody's handphone, and everybody every day, once they have 5 minutes of their time or 10 minutes during their tea breaks or whatever, they just go through those videos, those little shots and snippets and things like that.
Well, 10 years ago it was what we called the 15 minutes of fame, which is really where YouTube really got its name. Well, probably, what'd I say, 10 years ago, probably 15 years. Did I say 15 years ago? When Google bought the YouTube platform, it became the 15 minutes of fame. Anybody could become famous for that 15-minute segment. And that was the mandate and what the focus was back now. That 15 minutes has now become 15 seconds because that's the attention span of the millennials. Right, and it is a sad way we've got in society. And you both, thanks very much for that. There we go. I made my AdSense for the day because I'm sure they'll demonetize this video. But yes, it's just one of those sort of things. It's the life we lead, and it's the scary thing is in 20 years' time these people will be running government. And I'll just leave that thought there with you before we close the channel. In 20 years' time, these millennials will be running the country. Oh my God, I'm glad I'll be dead by then.
I'm not
Gen Z. I went to a graduation, high school graduation this week. I was quite shocked at the speeches.
To be fair, some of those are zennials, not millennials. Just want to say that as a millennial out there.
Oh, okay. You're not. Yeah, I know, because you had that main. Yeah, you're one of the intelligent ones, unfortunately. You're the dying breed. Anyway, what can I say? What do you call it? Zillennials. Is it?
Yeah, Zennial, I think.
Zennials. They're the ones.
He took the Stargate. What do you call it? The portal. He went through it and he came back different. It was then.
Anyway, so I just want to leave you with that thought. Just remember, these millennials will be running government in 20 years' time. Oh my God. Retire early and enjoy your life for the next 20 years because it won't be fun then. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. Peace out, guys. Stay tuned for the next one. I think we went pretty well for today's. I think what do we run for numbers? We've been sort of running around peaking around 42, 43. We're the usual crowd. I think we've done a pretty good stream. We've had a bit of fun. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thanks for joining us. We'll stick around on the channel and probably sort of close out on our Discord. Don't forget, there's a link to Discord. You can come and join us anytime. And you both buy Bitcoin. It went up again in price. Retire by 2030. Exactly. Anyway, peace out. Stay tuned and stay cool. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Patreons and our super chats and everything else, all good. We